So I'm just going to put all of these images. Let me do that here. I'll put all of these images into my images folder, and then right here in my VS Code. Now the images are here. So I'll just create my, no, sorry, not there. I'll create my index.html file. Then I'll just have my HTML boilerplate. Then I'll just come and say, um, Eric, the developer. That is the title of the web page that I want to use. And then I'll be making let me go to Tailwind CSS. And I want to pick some colors from their code. Let me go to components. Now, now here, the docs, right? Then let me go to customization. All right, so I'll pick this gray. So I'll pick this gray 50 color, and then for that, let me create my CSS file, and then I'll come here and say style.css, and then I'm going to have my basic CSS reset. All right, so I'll just take this out. Now, uh, back here, oh, my root. I'll go to, I'll just define a color, then say color main, color dark, and then I would assign it to the particular color that I have copied. Then I'll come back again, then I'll pick over there, I'm gonna pick gray 200, then I'll say color light, and then I'll put that over there. Then I'll pick another color, a bright color. Say I want to go with let me go with rose 600. So color rose, and I have this. So those are the colors which I'll be using. And let me start on my body background. I'm gonna give background a color dark for the background, and then the text color will be color light. All right, so let me come back here and let me link. So I will now link it, and let me come back. There are things which are missing. Then let me go back to Google Fonts, fonts.google.com, and then I would pick enter. The other day we selected the outfit fonts. Let's just go with outfit for now. So copy that, and then on top of my page, I'm going to import the outfit font. Then we'll remember to assign it to our corporate font family property, and then here I'm gonna replace it. And then the default font size of 1 rem, sometimes it may be smaller, so let's make it 1.125 rem. And then I think we're good to go. Today we wouldn't be using Font Awesome for our fonts. I wanted to try something new, so today we'll be using line icons. Let me see. So I'm on the line icons website, and let's see if I can grab their CDN docs. I'll go to using CDN, and all right. So this is their free CDN. Let me just copy the URL. If you copy everything here, which means you're going to add it inside your HTML, but I want to do that in my CSS. So I'll just come to import, then I'll paste the link over there. And just like Font Awesome, when you want to use an icon, you just come and then you search. So because we are using a free plan, let me just toggle this so that all the icons that we are saved with would be free. So I can search for food. Of course, I like food. They are not giving me a food, but I'll just copy that. So I'll copy this, then I'll just come into my body, and then I'll paste. Let me start my live server, close the file tree, take this to the very left, and then let me take my browser to the right, and there's the standard. So we have what you call it, the icons showing over there for us. So today we are going with line icons. You should remember that, and believe we are good to go. So the very first thing we're going to be working on is our header. So I'll just come here and say header, and then inside my header I'm going to use my container controller again, my container class, just like we did. So header class equals what, the header section. That is how I love to go with building websites, and make everything smooth for me. So you may want to choose your own style which you're going to adapt to. Then I'll come to dot header dot container. So for that, let me come back to my style sheet, and inside my style sheet, I'll just go to dot container. Then I'll go to width and give it a width of 1200 pixels, and then I'll give it a border of 1px solid. Oh, sorry, solid red. And remember, the 1px solid red is just for us to see what we are actually doing. And when we are done with the web page, we just take it off. We can have a margin of 0 for top and down, and also for left and right. And that means our container is going to be centered, right? And this is happening because our web page is too small. So this is how we will be seeing it. Let me see if I can position this way for us, right? Since we are working on the header, I believe this should work for us. Great. So let me put this here, and we can keep working along. So inside our header, first of all, we're gonna have our image class as what? Sorry, the class. We'll give it a class of logo, and then all its attribute will be web developer, right? And then the image source. What I'm gonna do is I'll just go to images, and then I already have my logo, which quick logo which I designed. So that is showing over here for us. And then we'll also come back and then add a UL. All right. And before I add a UL, I would have to add my nav. And inside my nav, I'm going to add a UL, then give it a class of nav items. Then I would have an li dot nav item. Then inside that, I'm gonna have an anchor link. Then I would give it an anchor link, and then I would give it a hash. Then say about. All right. So we have that showing over here for us. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this 3 times, and I'm going to have our portfolio. And then, oh sorry, the last should be contact. This is gonna be portfolio, and this is gonna be contacts. Then after our nav, we're gonna have another element over here, which is going to be our buttons. Um, I want us to have a div, right? And then div, then call that buttons. Let's say header buttons, and inside our header buttons, I'm gonna have an anchor and give it a button class. Then I'll just say hire me, and then I would also come back to my line icons and search for sun. So I can now click here, copy the code, go back and paste it, see what I am doing, and let me save. And I have my sun icon showing over there for me, and my button is also showing here, and we'll make it look good in a moment. So, all right, so I believe we are good for our header, and then I can just come here and comment and say header style, and then I'll give dot header um, display of flex. Then I'll give it an align items of center, and then I'll give it a height of 80 pixels. We have it showing over there. Then I would come back and go to my logo, dot logo, and then give it a width of 150 pixels. Let's see how that looks. Not bad. Then my logo should also really. Let me come back. Where do I have my logo? And I'm going to wrap that in a link so that we can add a link to it. Then I'll go back and the next item I have is my nav. So I have my UL over here. So that is inside our nav items. I have nav item. Yeah, somebody has a hand up.
So please, I wanted to know why you gave it an align item of center, because I thought said the align item it only works when we are on the cross arrows, but then
Can
we said
kindly raise your voice?
uh, I I said I wanted to know why you are using the align items of center, because I thought the align items it only works when we are on the cross arrow, but then
Yeah,
by default,
it works. No, it doesn't only work when we are on the cross axis. It works, but it is switched when you switch the axis. So let me come back here and remove align items, and you see that they are all at the top. So when we have display of flex and we are working horizontally, everything goes to the top. Are you getting it?
yes,
Uh-huh. If I should do this, you realize that everything. Okay, let me just put it here. Everything is aligned at the top, which is what an aligned item of flex start. Are you getting it?
yes,
Because that
yes,
is the default for the align items. Then, if we now change this to center, everything is going to be centered vertically. Are you getting it? But when
yes,
we use the justify content, that is going to justify content, and we say center, that's going to center it horizontally between left and right. I getting it. So if you want it to be
yes.
centered vertically between top and down, then it's going to be align items. If you want it to be
Okay.
centered between left and right center, then you're going to use what? Justify content. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Then what you are confused about is that This align items, you realize that it is positioning the things. Let me take off justify content. And align items is positioning either top, uh, middle, the center, or the bottom. Are
Yes.
you getting it?
Yes.
Now, should we come back and say flex direction of our column? This align item is now coming to the center. Are you getting it? It's no
Yes.
more aligning it vertically. It's now aligning it what horizontally. So that is where the
Horizontal.
switch comes. Are you getting
Okay.
it?
Yes.
So I'm using align item center so that everything will be in the center. Else, there's gonna be no space at the top and there will be too much space at the bottom. Are you getting it? So align
Yes.
item of center. Then let me take my height back to 80 pixels. Then I've worked on my logo already. Next thing I'm gonna work on is, first of all, let me come back here and select every link and say TD none. Then I'm gonna give it a color of rose. Then I'm going to I believe that is all for now. That is all I wish to do for now. Then coming back to where do we are? We have our nav items, and then I would say that nav items. So I would say display of inline block. Sorry, nav item rather. I'll give them a display of inline block so that they can be straight. Another thing we can do is we can select the parent instead and give it a display of flex, and it's still we're still going to have the same effect. And now let me give this oh sorry, we are not using display. We are not using flex. Let me give this a margin of sorry margin of 0 for top and bottom and 10 pixels for left and right, so we can have some space around it over here. Then our header, which I give it a display of flex. Let me now give it a justify content of space between, so that everything will be spread on our page for us like this. And then um, we have this here, we have this here, we have this here. Then I'm going to come in here, and then also let me style my button element dot button, and then I would say padding of 10 pixels, 20 pixels for left and right. Then I would go to background color, and then I would give it a rose. Sorry, var, and I would give it a rose. Then I would give it a color of white. So I think that was our color light we use. Color light. All right. So we have our buttons showing here for us. Then maybe we would want to play along with some rounded corners. I love using rounded corners too much, but I think I'll leave it very sharp because our logo has some sharp edges so that it would match. And then what I'll do again is come back here, and now I want to switch this. I want the sun to come first. All right, so we have this over here. Then I have my header buttons. So I'll just select that header buttons class, and then I'll give it a display of flex, and we're not going to see anything change. Okay, so if you can notice the sun went up, then we'll give it an align item of center, and then we could give it a gap of 20 pixels. All right, so that is not bad. Then what I'm gonna do is I'll give this another class, that is the icon, and call it theme toggle. And what I want us to do is when we click on it, we're gonna switch between dark mode and light mode. That is the theme. So I'll come back and select it and say cursor pointer, so that when we hover over it, right, theme toggle I haven't saved here, so that when we hover it, we can see the pointer icon over there. it tells the user that the element can be clicked. And then I have my, all right, I think everything is okay for now. Let me deactivate the MPX border red, and I believe this looks great. What I can do is I'm not gonna change anything for now. Let me just bring that back. Then next thing I'm gonna work on. So let me just come here and comment here and say header section. Then after my header section, and just give some gap, and I can now say that hero section. All right, so inside my hero section, I'll come back and say section, and then I'll give it a class, right? A class of hero section. And then inside that, I'm gonna have my div and call it a section dot container. I'm adding my container utility class over there, and it's showing at the bottom. You're not gonna see, but then I would have to come back here and then let me add another thing to my section. And I'll say for each of the sections I'm gonna add on the page, I'm gonna give them what do you call it, a margin bottom of 150 pixels. And we are not seeing because the section is starting from here and there is no other section that comes after it. Should I duplicate this? Then we are having the other section over here. So that's what the 150 pixels is doing. And will come. Then one thing we shouldn't forget is we're supposed to work on the responsiveness. As I said the other day, let's now make our header mobile responsive. So I'll just come back and say responsive. Then I'll just come back and say at media screen only and max width of let's come back here and everything here looks great. So I'll just come back here and take this back here. And for my container, let me give it a max width instead. A max width, so that it can become small as and when necessary. So I have this here, and everything goes well. Everything looks great until I get to the mobile section. So now let's pick the 640 breakpoint. When we go here, everything looks great. I think this view is still okay until we get to some place like this and everything begins to wrap up for us. So let's go back and pick our 640 media query. That is the that is going to be for mobile devices, right? So when we get to mobile devices, what we want to do is let me pick my container, and also I almost forgot. Let me give some padding to the container, and I'll say padding of 0, uh, padding of 0, then 10 for left and right, so we can have some gap over here. And that is it. Let me just copy my container, go back to the mobile, and at this point I want to make my container 100%. That's, I'm gonna give it a max, a fixed width of 100%, and I'll leave that as it is for now because it's not affecting any other sections. When we get there, I have to cancel. Then at this point, when we get to this point, I want to hide this navbar. So before that, I have to add my menu, my hamburger icon. Let me search for menu, and I have this hamburger icon. Let me copy this, and Also within this place, let me add all of this. So then let me give it another class of mobile dashboard. Let me say menu toggle. All right. So when I select menu toggle, I want to go back to where I have my theme toggle. And then I would say menu toggle, theme toggle. Both of them should uh, have. I haven't saved this, so they now appear to be clickable. Then I'll pick my menu toggle for here, and then I would say display of none, and it's not gonna show. And right until we get to 640, then I'll now give it a display of block. So when our screen size reduces, at this point, you're not gonna see it, but when you get there, we are going to begin. You will begin to see our menu button. And then what I was supposed to do is I was supposed to add these buttons inside the nav so that I work on all of them as well. So I have to come back here, and then I'm gonna have to get rid of this particular container. So let me pick these two items, and then let me put them inside my nav, and I'm gonna have a problem over here. However, I will still fix. So let me see. I've got to take care of this real quick before we proceed. And when I have my nav items, I have here nav. I have. Let me delete this for now because we wouldn't be needing it. This is showing well and this is not showing. So I could just come back and pick my nav and give that a display of flex. Alright, so I can have this. Then I'll give it a line items of sorry center and a line item of center, and this is going to defeat the style which I wanted to add. Then what I could do is flex direction. No, I'm not gonna bring flex direction over here. I wanna have this centered, but this at the very bottom, the very right, far right. I think I'm gonna go with how I did it earlier. Let's stick to that. Then let me take my nav out of here. I'll figure out a way to display this still on the mobile menu. And then our nav, right? Our nav at that particular point. Let's come back again, and at 640, right? So at the same place, we can select our nav and then give it a display of none. So it's not going to show. But before our nav begins to show, what we could do is before we hide our nav, let me just give it a position of absolute. Then I would so it's taken out of the flow for us. Then I'll give this of 0. Then I'll give this left of 0 again. Then I'll give it a width of 100%. Then I'll give it a, let me give it a background color of dark. Then I'll give it a height of 100%. All right. And then I'll now select the nav item. And at this point, I'm going to give it a display of block. All right. And then I'll give it a text align of center, so we can have them in the center. And I could give this a padding top of, we have our header 80 pixels, so I could give it a 100 pixels. Let me see if that looks great, and it's not bad. Then I could give each of these a margin of 10 pixels top and down, auto for left and right. And this is not bad, but of course I have to find a way to bring my, I've got to find a way to bring my button into the menu, because I wouldn't want my button to show. I wouldn't want the button to show when you're on a small screen. It's supposed to be the logo and then the hamburger. So uh, let me find a way to go about it. I could put it here. Then I could, great. So I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna put this container inside my UL, and then where do I have display of none? Let me take that out. But before that too, you know what? Let me comment everything out over here, and let me go back to person else. Great. So let me go back to my desktop mode, and in this instance, I have everything. So where I used the nav item to control they being displayed horizontally, I'll now select the parent item, which is nav items. All right, and then I'll say nav items. I'll give it a display of flex, so I can have everything show like this for me. And then I'll give it an item of center. Then I can give them a gap of um, 50 pixels. I'll give a gap of 10 pixels. 20 should be okay. Gap of 20 pixels is not bad. Then also for the nav item, I'll give a list type. I think I can give it to the, because this is a parent, so I'll say list style none. So I could just take this off totally. So I have this over here. Then inside my nav items, let me see border of 1px solid blue. So I have it here. Then I could say flex row of 1, and it's not taking up the available space we have. Okay, so it's supposed to be on the nav instead, because it's wrapped over there. So I can now have my nav and say flex row of 1, and this is showing over here for me. I think I'm getting what I want to do. Then I'll just come back here and say that justify content. justify content of center. Then I'll now go back and this one I'm gonna say justify self of flex in, and that is not working. Well, justify self. Justify self is not working for us. So I could come back and justify content SB, and that is still not going to work out for us. So we have to change our design. Let me take this back here and now give this. Let me take off the flex grow. May have to leave it like this for now. Alright, so let me come back to my mobile view, and then nav we're gonna hide everything. Sorry. Let me come back here and say over here we wanna hide everything in the nav, and then this would now be displayed, and then the nav item. All our nav item would now show for us. Let me remove my display of nav. Yeah, somebody had a hand up.
Yeah, so please about the justify self. No?
Yeah,
I was like, I think it will work if uh,
you have a wrap
maybe it's in a grid, like in a
for
grid.
grid box. Yeah,
Yeah, but then for the flex, I think it's supposed to be um, align self, which should be used on a child which is in the container that we are aligning flex. No? I
the,
think maybe if you do it that way,
the
it might
align
affect. I don't know.
self.
Yeah.
So that should be on the container. It should be the child.
No, no. It should be on the child.
So when we
So
have, let me give that a shot and see. So we have, what do we call it? Justify. Let me bring back my nav and see flex grow of one. All right. Then I'll give it a, for this I'll say justify content. I'll say center. And then this, you said align self,
uh,
flex in. It's not working.
no, like it should not in the header button, but then maybe in one child which is in the class header button.
The class header
Right?
button. You
Yeah.
see, this header button is also a child of this header button and then the nav items. They are
Yeah.
all childs of, they are all children of the nav items, all right?
Yes.
So if I'm having my align self, come on, let me check. It's actually going to work with, I think it overrides the align items. It overrides the align items. So the justify self is supposed to work for the justified items. Let me see, justify self. Oh wait, I think
Mixed up.
I've seen the problem. Well, if this is full width, then what I wanted to do here was supposed to work, but it's not. So let's just continue with the other method. We'll try and figure it out another time. So we have this here. Let me take off this yellow and then go back to my mobile. And at this point, my nav item. And what I'll do again for the nav item, I'll say that nav item. Then I'll give a flex direction of a column, so we can have everything show in line here for us like that. And let me comment on this and see if we have a problem. Nothing for now. Then I could say that header buttons. Then I could say flex direction of column, right? And then we have that showing for us as well. I could say column reverse in this instance, so we have this over here. And I believe we're good to go for now. But then with my nav over here, I'll give it a top of 80 pixels so that it doesn't cover the header for us. And I think we are good to go for the mobile menu. And so we have this here, which is not bad. Later on, we'll use JavaScript to show and hide it, including the theme mode as well. It's been 42 minutes and we're still on the header section. So over here we have a display of none over here. Then all right, so let's go back and guys, give me a moment. I'll be with you. So let's comment our hero section. Sorry for that interruption. Then inside our hero section, we're gonna have let's say we're gonna have h1 dot hero title, and inside our h1 dot hero title, I have let me go back to desktop. I have saved some content which I wanted us to use. Did I put it here? Right. So oh, I did save some content which we're gonna be using for our pages. we'll continue regardless. So we could just say hello. I am a web developer. Then under that, we'll just have a paragraph. Then we give it a class of hero description. All right, so I have yeah, so I have it. Said hello, I am a web developer. Then inside the hero description, I'm gonna put this over here. Then that will be it for the hero section for now. Then I will come back here and we would say hero style. So that hero and over it's my web page. We have nothing to show over here. So I'll give it a height of 100 viewport height. Sorry, it's supposed to be hero. So I have a height. I have my 100 viewport height. Then I'm going to with the hero title. I'll just come back and say that hero title and give it a font size of 3 rem. How big is that? The font size of let me say 5 is that big. Then I'll give it a width of 25 characters. That is still not working for us. Let me make it 10 characters. That was it. Alright, so 10 is let me make it 15. And then great, we have a looking like this. Then with this, I'm gonna come back and say that hero description, and I wouldn't want that to be that bright. So let me just come back and let me create another color and call it gray, the lighter version of this. So for that, I could have my hero description, and I could say color over gray, and how best is looking. I can't be red, so let me make a few adjustments. All right, so could well, that's not working. Let me use a display of a flex. Then I'll give it a flex direction of a column. Then I'll give it a justify content of center. Oh, I was doing that to my header. It's supposed to be for the hero. So let me see if my vertical line was working. Oh, it's not. So we have it aligned in the middle. And then the height, I could just say calc 80, sorry, putting viewport height minus 80 pixels. This is going to be what we calculated for, we're calculating what we used for the about. Then I think we're cool with that for now. One thing I could do is just come and say, let me let me leave that for now. Then we're gonna proceed to the next version, which is gonna be our skill set. So we'll come back to VS Code and then have another section and call that. Let me give that a class of skill section. Then I'll have dot skills dot container. And inside that, I'm going to have an h2 dot section title. Then I'll call say skills. So we have that showing over here. And then in my CSS, I'll just pick that section title and say that color. Give it a color of rose. It doesn't look that bad. And then for my hero section, we're supposed to add a button. Sorry. And I'll say download CV. Then our hero, I'll just say align items of flex start so that my button doesn't become full width. And then I could now override something. I could just say that hero button. Then I could give it a padding of 15 px, 30 px, so it can be a little big. I think that is great. And then we can also add an icon and say download. So copy this and then where we have a button, I could just say that button. The button then I could give it a margin left of 10 pixels. Alright, so I think that looks great. And then my hero, I could give a gap of 20 pixels, which doesn't look bad. Alright, so back here, then I would say skill. I have another div, then I would say skill dot cards. Then I'm gonna have dot card for each of them, and in each card what I'm gonna do is I'm going to first of all have an icon. So our skill set, we have HTML, so come back and search for HTML, and I'll copy that and I'll paste. Then I'll come back and say p.skill title. Then I'll just say HTML. Then down here, I'll just say p dot let me make this an h3. Then I'll say skill description. Then let me see what I've had for HTML, and then I'll just paste it there. Let's see what's happening. Nothing too good. Right, so we have this over here, and then I'll just pick up my card, duplicate it, and then I would have JavaScript. All right, so it's now going to be JavaScript. Then I will come back and go to here and say JavaScript. So I'll just pick JavaScript icon and replace it. Then I could just come back again. Let me make this big so I can feel a lot more comfortable working. Then, alright, so let me say UX design. Let me pick this. I don't have any icon for design. Alright, so we have UX over here. Let me use this. Then I'll say UI slash UX. Then next, let me copy this UI UX. All right. Then next item we have Git and GitHub. We have Git and version control. So I'll just search for Git. I'm sorry. And I'll replace that here. Then the next one we have is PHP. So I'll copy that. And paste. Then I would say PHP. Then I'll come back, pick an icon for PHP, copy that, replace it. Then I would come back in the next one we have was JavaScript, experience and leveraging it. So then CSS. So I just copy this. Now I can say CSS. And then what do we have for CSS? So let's see what we have so far. 1, 2, 3. All right. So I could just come back and select my skill cards. All right. So and give it a display of Greek. Then I would say with template columns. Let me make it a 1FR, 1FR, 1FR. Let's see what's happening. So we have dates over here. UI UX. I'm having an error. Okay, so I'm gonna delete one of this. It's gone now. And then before that, let's get to work on responsiveness for the hero section, so we don't get confused. We don't face challenges with it later on as well. So we have this here. We can come back and the hero section, we have a hero title. So the width, let me just put a match width, and then it can wrap in this particular instance. So let me come back here and then work on the responsiveness for tablet. Let me bring that here. And tablet, that would be 768 pixels. So I could just say that hero title, and then I'll give it a 3 rem. Sorry, that I'll give it a font size, 3 rem. Finally, mobile size, our font size should have a maximum of 1.5 rem for mobile. Then I believe everything is okay for now. Then let's go back and build the desktop version for the skill. So what I could actually do is come back and I have a section title. Let me not give it a row. The, so I want to add some pseudo element and add some styling. So I could say section, sorry, content of this. Let me give it a position of absolute. Then before that, I'll have my section title. And I'll give it a position of relative. Then I would come back and give this a height of 2 pixels, then a width of 10 pixels, 20 pixels, then a background color of rose. Let's see what happened. Great. So I'll now give it a bottom of -5 pixels, and then a left of 0, and that's how it is. So let me increase the width to the height to 5, and then the width to 50 pixels, and that is it over here. And so I could give it a margin bottom of 20. Sorry, section title, I'll give it a margin bottom of 20 pixels. Let me make this -10. Let's see how well that looks. That looks good, not bad. So when I come, I'll just say my scale cards, I can give that a margin top as well. Let me give it a margin top of 20 pixels. So alright, so I have this over here. Then my scale cards, I'll give them a gap of 50 pixels. And then this is not bad. But I can now continue and select each of the scale card. Sorry, the card that is for each of them. And then I'll give it a background color of in dark. I could create another color and say and dark. So that is like medium dark, mid dark. I don't want it to be too dark. So Java, let's see how that looks. I think that looks darker than the main background. So let me work on it. It's supposed to be lighter than it. You know what, let me just go to the tailwind, CSS, and then pick this slate from there. Customization, and just search for customizing colors, right? And I picked, I think I picked this gray, 950. So pick 900, and I pick this. I'll put this here. So that color, that is a 12131. I have to get this right. Right, I think I got the look I wanted. There should be a little lighter, just a little light. Let me even make it a little darker and see. All right, so this looks great. Then I can come back to my card, and then I would say padding of 10 pixels for all sides, not great. Let me make it a padding of 30 pixels for all sides, and then content for my HTML. Document sign, so I have, so I think I'm done with this for now. Then let me see what I have made so far. Now let me add some gap. So I'll give this a display of flex, then a flex direction of column, and then I'll give the gap of 20 pixels. And I hope that looks great. That doesn't look bad. Then back here, I'm gonna pick match this. Make this light. We have this here. Then I could just say skill description. We could have our description, and I would say color should be and light. Okay, so I have that soft color over here. Then I'll go to card. For that, go to card. Then I'll style the icon over there. Then I'll give it a font size. Oh, sorry, of 2 rem. That looks great. Not bad. Let me make it 3 rem. Great. I think this looks cool. Similar CSS JavaScript PHP, right? Then could give it a color. The color of rose. And I could give it a margin top. Let me see, margin top of 20 pixels. Let me see if I can have a lot more space at the top for that. Let me check. Great. So this looks just like I wanted to. And I don't know for you, but I believe this is looking great. I think we are spending more time than we are actually supposed to, but then it's all worth it. Then now continue to build uh, next section. And so over there, we're gonna have our very next section. Let me see. This is our skills section. Before we move on, let's work on the responsiveness. Let me go to inspect, and everything looks good at this point. At this point, all right. So from here, still not bad. So let me go to 768. Let me pick my skill cards. Then at breakpoint 768, I could say that the grade template column should now change to one fraction. So it's gonna be 4 now. And I think this looks great. Then what else are we gonna work on? Then when we get to the mobile view, it should change to 1FR. So on the mobile view, we could now say that, sorry, 1FR. So we could have this, and then we have it showing the 90 for us. So basically, that is all that would have to be changed over here. Let's move on to the next section, which is going to be the portfolio section. So we could say section dot portfolio. Then we could say dot portfolio dot container. And inside our portfolio dot container, we're gonna have here. So what we could actually do is, let me just copy this. I think we have our section title skills. Then I'm going to come back here and say portfolio. So we have a portfolio showing down here for us. Then we can now come back and then have a div. Sorry, we could say portfolio items. And inside our portfolio items, you're gonna have more divs, and we could say dot portfolio item. And inside our portfolio item, we're gonna have image dot let me not add a class to it. Then let me go to images slash port one, and then let's see, it's showing over there. Then we could take this off. Then we could also have another div, then call it portfolio detail. All right. Then inside that, I'm gonna have a p and call it item name. All right. Then I would say website one. Then I would have another p, then call it item description. And inside there, let me just put some lorem text, which is going to be a description of the portfolio. And let me see what I have here, and it's showing. Then what I can actually do is let me add a button. Let me just add a link. Then say view item. Let me say visit. Let me just make it some people check it out. All right, then I could also come back to here and say arrow right. I could just copy this and then put it over here. Then go back and let me make something as well. So I have button I. Then I'll say AI. That is also going to work. So that this is here. And this doesn't look that aligned. So I could just select my anchor item, give it a display of flex, then give it an align item of center. And I believe we should have it right, so it's now aligned very well for us. But then, uh, sorry. All right, so we have that space over there. I could say AI when the I is when it is hovered, then the I should give us a margin left of 15 pixels instead of the 10. And then I'll add some transition. Then I'll say development 2S. Then we have some nice transition over here. Then what I'm gonna do is let me just duplicate this portfolio item. We have four of them. Then I could just come back and continue and say portfolio item. Oh, let me go down there, down. Alright, so portfolio style. Then I could have, let me see, I have this, so I have portfolio item, great. And so I can pick portfolio item, and then I could say filter. I could make it, let's say, let me give it some grayscale of 50%. Or I could make it a blurry, sorry. Then add some blur of 2 pixels. One should be okay. Let me take off the grayscale. Yeah, this doesn't look bad. Then I'm going to first of all select the portfolio items. Sorry. So the portfolio items and give it a display of grid. Then grid template columns. It's gonna be one FR. So we something is so we can actually have items side by side. And then this width, I'll give it a width of 100% so it doesn't go beyond its container. Then I could give it an opacity of 0.8. Then I could come back and give this portfolio item. Now I want to work on this portfolio detail. So I'll just copy this portfolio item, give it a, sorry, not item, I'll give it a position of relative. Then this, I'll give this a position of, sorry, absolute. And then I'll give it a top of 0. Let's see, right? Left of 0. Width, I'll give it 100%. Then I'll give it a height, 100%. Then I'll give it a background image. Then I'll give it a linear gradient. Then I'll give it a var bg, sorry, CLR dark. Then CLR gray. Wait, that's not happening. Okay. Then I'll give that an opacity of 0.5. That is, for that, let me come back here and give this a gap of 50 pictures. Okay, so this looks great. Then a portfolio detail. Item name, font size, sorry, of a 3 rem, font weight of 800. So the opacity affects its content as well. What I'm gonna do is let me give it this color. So I could give it this up here. So I could say M2 dark. And I'm gonna go back and make it a little darker. Great. I think that is. Let me just do a little dark again. dark. Then sorry, display of flex. Flex direction of column. Then justify content of center, and I have it in the middle. And of course, I'm gonna give it some padding. Padding of 50 pixels. Great, that looks good. And of course, the color as well. So let me give the color over here, color and light. Well, I think I destroyed this color, our light color. We have of 20 pixels for each of those items. Overflow of hidden. All right. So give this, or did I give it a height? First of all, let me give it a bottom of 0. So I'll give it a bottom of minus 100%, and it's going down. All right, it's going down. Then when portfolio item is, sorry, it's going down. Then also I'll give a portfolio item of overflow hidden. All right. So when portfolio item is covered, then portfolio detail should sorry, then portfolio detail should have a bottom of 0. Let's see how that happens. So this now working great for us. Then I'll now give this a transition of 0.3s, so we can have some really nice animation whenever the item is covered. Right, so I think I can go back to the image and take off the blurry. Let's not make it blurry. Let's bring it back the opacity. So this comes here nicely for us. This okay. And there was another effect I wanted us to add earlier, but we'll just let go of it for now. So let me just come back here for each of the portfolio items. Let me just see image one. Nah, let me make this two. Then three, and then I pick this, and I say four. So this is website 3, website 4, and then you have a description, and then of course you're gonna add a link so that let's say this goes to can add a link. So this like this. You can go to website for and say https://chrome. All right. Then I could just say I could give it a target of blank, so that when I come and I click on it, it's gonna open the website over here. So that is it. Let me just take off the link for now. Then add the target. So I can now go back here at the target. Then all right. So everything works now. And then let's see if this will appear well when it's. So we keep going, and I think it looks great through tablet view. Let's go to mobile view. So we can just copy this, and then on our mobile view, we can just change the grid template column to one FR. So that when we get to mobile view, we can now see all of our items one by one. And then now, let me see, let me click this. All right, so it looks great on mobile. Nothing to work on. We'll just get going. Then the next thing we're going to work on is the contact form. So we can now come back and then I'll say contact section. So we can have section dot contact section. Then we have contact dot container. Then I could now go back and add my form. So I could, I want to have two columns over here. So I'll have my form, give an action here. Then I could say input type equals text, and the placeholder is full name. Then I could add email, someone at mail.com. Then I could say tell, so plus 230 24 012 3 4 5 6. All right. Then I could now come back and say select. All right. Then I'll take off the name for now. Take off the ID. Then inside the select, I'm gonna have my option, and then the option first one. Let me get this. I'll give this a value, and then I'll make this um, select project, right? So let's see what's happening right here. Not looking that great. Then I could come back and say um, web dev. So website development. You want if somebody's trying to contact you, you want to know why the person is contacting you or what project you want the person. You want to know what project the person is trying to contact you for. So mob dev. So we say mobile app. Mobile app development. Then What else do you want to put over here? Maybe console. And when you have the select in the option, when the value attribute is what is going to be passed to the backend. This is what is going to, when you're processing the form in the backend, that's what is going to be received. This is what the user sees. So we can just say consultation, the inquiry, and we can say general inquiry. Great. So we have this everything showing over here for us. And let me go back and I'll see this reset. Let me add select to this. Right, so that it can also pick up the same font. Sorry, the same font. Then I'm going back down here and say form classes or contact form. Then I could just come here and say contact form style. Then I would say the contact form. I'll give it a display. Sorry, a display of flex direction of column. Then I'll give it a gap of 30 pixels. Let me see if that works out right for me. Not bad. Then I could come back and say the contact form input. Right. I'll give it a padding of 15. Pixels. Let me see how that goes. Very bold. Then I'll give it a border of 1px solid rows. Then I'll give it a background color of transparent. Then I'll give it a text color. Like so that whatever is typed could just go there. Then I'm gonna select the project as well. Sorry, I'll select the select as well. But then the select is not showing. Let me see if I could give a background color to the option. I think there should be a way. Contact form. Oh, sorry. Option and all right. So that works for us. And of course, we are not rounding our borders, so we will leave that as that. Then after my form, I can have another div, then call that contact details. All right. So inside my contact details, I'm gonna have a div and call it a phone. And inside my phone, I'll have an icon. So I could come back here and see phone. So I could pick this phone icon and put it over here. Then I could come back and say another div and say phone numbers. Right. Then I could say plus 2330. Then 240123456. sorry, so this is gonna be, I put it in a paragraph. Then let me say 020. I want to have two numbers. Let's see what's happening. We are having this look like this. Then I would have another D and call that email. And then I'm gonna have, let me say one email. With that, I'll just have a P. And then what I'm gonna do is actually put this not in a P, but what? An anchor element. And if you could remember when we started our lessons, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We showed how to make a link clickable. So now you can click on it and it's gonna place a call. Let me come back here and say email. Uh, email. Oh, we're not having an email sign. Let me see if we can have envelope. All right, so let's go with envelope, and we can have envelope over here. Then I have, say, mail to my mail at mail.com. Can say my mail at mail.com. Then, and of course, after we have our form, there should be a submit button. It almost skipped me. So where is our form here? Then we can have button. Then let's say submit, and we have our button showing like this. Then I have to do the line item. Sorry, justify content to the form instead. Justify content. Let's start. Right. Yeah. So if our flight direction is column, justify content. Let's start. Oh, so we have this, and like so. Here, let me give this a border, none, and this looks the screen for us. Okay, so I think let me just go back to the bottom, and then on my form, let me where it's where I have, let me take this out. Flex tab. Alright, so this is what I actually wanted. Then I could come back and say mail.com. Then let that it's okay for now. So I could just come back where I want to I can select the contact, the container. So I could just say the contact, say display of flex. So I can have that. Then I'm gonna select all the items that are there, the contact. Then I would say I'll use the word card selector, which means all the children of contact, all the direct children of contact. I'm going to say let's go of one. I have this showing over here for me. 100%. Alright, so I have this over here. Then I could come back to my contact form and say gap of 50 pixels. Great. It's not happening. No, not contact form, contact. Give it a gap of 50 pixels. I have this over here. Submit. Then I could come back and say that contact details. That contact details. Um, phone. The phone. Email. I get a display of flex. So I can have this. Can specify content. Flex text. Uh, okay, so let me make this direct children so it doesn't affect this. And what I did here was that anything that is a descendant of contact should have a flex crew of one, and so it was affecting this. That's why they were evenly spaced. But when I bring this sign, it means a direct child, now not just a descendant. A descendant could be a child or a grandchild. All right. So when I have this container, and then I have this is a child of this container. This is a grandchild. All right. So when I leave it like this, it means anything that it's within this particular container should be affected. But when I say this, it means anything that is directly a child. So it's going to affect the form. It's going to affect this div, but not these ones. So I have this here. Then I could where was I? Contact details. Display flex. Grab 20 pixels. So contact details. I font size of 2 rem. Let's see how well that looks. Let's say 1.5. So I could give this an MB of 20 pixels to give some space over here. Then I could inside here I could say align items. Align items of stats. And before that, even before those phone, I could just say call P, then I could say call send an email. Then I could say contact details and then bring that P. Then I could say font size. Let me give that a font size of 1 rem and make it to 3 rem. So it should be okay. Then I'll give it a font weight of 600. Font pixels. Then I could give that margin bottom of 50 pixels. And we have that over here. Then I believe we're good. Let's see if that is going to look great on different screen sizes. Of course, it's not great for mobile. So far, we're good to go. Right, so it's on a contact. 768. We have to pick our contact section. That is our contact. And then we have to pick our contacts. Go to our 768 breakpoint. And now give it a flex direction. Flex direction of column. And I believe this is still working great for us. And then we have this showing here for us too. Right, so I think this is great. And I believe through mobile everything looks great. Uh, Through mobile everything looks great. So we can now let go of that as well. And then what else can we do? Now let's come back and create our footer. Dot our footer hyphen section. Then inside our footer we'll have dot footer dot container and footer dot container. Then we can have some paragraph text, right? Copyright. So we could just have your name and say Ricky Hi. Then have a web developer. I may not bring in a couple, so let me just say this is a footer text. Alright, let me close this, go back to the very bottom. Let me just say and copy. And, alright, we have this here for us. And I could pick up my footer for the media query. Just let's see that footer, then I could say border top and clear solid and right. Alright, that is showing over there for us. Then I could say padding of 50 pixels. Padding top. If it's too much in this scenario, 20 should. Padding top 20 pixels and bottom. Right, so we can now select this and say the copyright. Sorry, the footer text. Then we can say text align of center, and then we have that. So that let's see if it's also responsive, and it looks great on mobile. I think we are now done with our website. Yes, but now the hero section looks a little bit plain. Let me see if I can just do something real quick to the hero section. And, where do we have our hero section? So I could now come back and say the hero. Dot hero after. Let me copy that and put that here. Then let me give it a content of ye. All right. Then I'll give it a position of absolute. Then on here I'll give this a position of relative. Then all right. So I'm saying the ye over here. Then I'll give it a font size of 9 rem. And look at how that big that goes. Let me say 9 em. Font weight of 900. And then I could let me come back here and give it a bottom of 0, then right of 0 as well. So we have it showing over here. And I can increase this one, make it 100 EMs and see. I think that is too big for now. And actually want it to be very big. Line height of 0. Alright, so it's now showing over here. That is too big. I want to play around at 70 and see. Is that too big? Pixels. 2 and tip of the line height. Let me bring this down to 50 and make this 40. And okay, let me change this to hero. That is the hero section. That's gonna be the parent section. Did I style the hero section on the hero section? So I'm gonna cut this and I give this to the hero. The hero section and see what happens here. Paste it to 0.2. Increase the line height. Let me make it 50 rem. Now, I actually wanted to have the E fill this side very big, but it's not working out. Let me just take everything off. Let me put a comment, and then we could get a background, back web page. Let me see if I can get some nice backgrounds to fill that site. This kind of matches with our color theme. So let me pick this and come back here to desktop and go to portfolio images and uh, let me give it a BG. So back here, hero section, I can now give it a background image of a URL, then images, BG, and we have nice background for our hero. So I can now say BG size should cover, and it's kind of blurry. Let me try and find one that is a lot more sharp. Well, we just let's go with this for now, and then let's go ahead. Let's let me pick another background which is a little lighter. This got watermarks, and let me save this as BG light. And what I'm gonna do is I'll come back here and remove this, and then come back to my root, and then say BG image, and then I'll put this over there, so that when I come back to my hero, I could say uh, BG image, and let's see if that is working. That is working perfectly fine for us. And now let's go back and change everything back to light mode. So I'm gonna copy everything over here. Then I'll come back and save my body and give it a class of what, the dark, and then go back here and I'm gonna change everything. So let me go back to the very top, and where is my body? Let me now add a class of dark. All right, and nothing is happening. But then I'm gonna swap. Let me duplicate this again. Where I have dark, I'm gonna pick the dark from there, and I'm gonna give it to light, and then give the light to dark, and let's see what's happening on our web page. So we have seen an instant switch in our colors. So we now move from light mode to dark mode. So let me just go ahead and then work on the other colors so we can have everything working well for us. Then I can now come back and the M dark, I'm gonna give M dark to M light. So that's basically how you work around dark mode. And you can see this over here as well. Then I could say M2 dark. Doesn't have, let me just make it a little lighter and see what we're having over here. Then I could just change this to BG white, BG light, and then the background is changed as well. I have some colors which are not switching. Light's supposed to be light, dark, and rose is going to stay the same. Alright, so this is now switched for us. I think everything is switched for us, but I want the button to maintain the white. So I'll come back and see where's my button. Where do I have my button? I have my button over here, right? So it has a color of light. So when the theme switches, it's going to affect it as well. So I can now come and give that a fixed value. Right? So I have light. So for my button background, or my button color, I can now give it a fixed value because I don't want it to change according to the theme. So that no matter what happens, I have this looking like this for me. And let me see back. All right, so I could make that still a little bit lighter, and I think light mode also works really well for us. Then my logo, I didn't hiding. Give a light. I didn't give I didn't make a dark logo, and so I kind of have this problem. Let me see if I can really do something quick and then put it over there. While I wait for my crowd draw to start, I'm going to what do I do? Let me add a little bit of JavaScript, which is going to help us to toggle the light and dark mode. So over here, I'm going to add a script. Then let toggle button, sorry, let theme equals document dot query selector. So theme button, right? And I think that was the name we gave to our theme button right in the header. Let me see. Right, no, theme toggle. So that was the name we gave to it. So you have to make sure you give the right name, theme toggle, right? So we're gonna say theme button dot what? Add event listener. Click. Then we're gonna say we'll pass in a function. And what would that function do? Body, sorry, document dot add event listener. Sorry, the class list dot toggle dark. All right. So let's see what happens. So when we click, dark mode switches for us. And let me refresh if something is happening. When I'm in dark mode and then I refresh my page, this is going off. Before I do that, let me see if I can make my new logo real quick. I think I designed it in one of these files. But before that, let me go on. And then uh, let me work on the nav bar as well. So I think I have my logo here. So let me grab that color we're using. I think this color. And then I'll come back here, select everything, take this out, grab this here. So I can now have, so I have my logo too over here. So what I'm gonna do is because we initially designed the website in dark mode, let me use light so that when body.light, then let me take care of all of this because we don't need it anymore. Then I'll come back to my body and let me remove light. Let me remove the class general, and then let's see what we have over here. Scroll to the top, this is happening. So where I have my logo, I have to change the URL of the logo as well. So what I'm coming to do is I would say logo. So I'm coming to have to do a little bit JavaScript. It may get you confused. So uh, is light mode equals false. Then if is light mode, let's say if sorry, if not light mode, then it means we are going to toggle light mode. Else we'll toggle light mode. Then we'll just say light mode was true. Sorry, it's light mode, right? Then else, if light mode is true, it means it's already in light mode. Then let me say dot add here. Then if it's in light mode, it means it's already dead, so we will have to remove this. All right. And then when we are in light mode, let me now say let logo equals document dot query selector logo, right? Then when we switch our mode, we could say logo dot src equals and then we're gonna let me put this over here. Guys, give me a moment. All right, so when we are switching to light mode, we'll change the logo to light mode, and then when we are switching to dark mode, we would have to change the logo. Sorry, so here I have to change this to logo um, .png, and then I have to change this to logo. Now we are removing dark, so we have to change logo to light. Sorry, this should be logo light. Then this should be logo .png, and let me export. Did I export my logo already? All right, I think I've exported my logo already. So I'm just gonna go back to my portfolio and rename this to logo dark, right? Then I'll make this logo light, and then come back to my website and say logo light, logo dark. Then initially I would have to change my logo to light, right? Then I have everything showing. I think I have some problem with my JavaScript. Let me see what I'm doing. This should be dark. This should be false. This should be light. So I have, let me see, yeah, and my logo also changes accordingly. So when I'm in dark mode, my logo goes in dark mode, and I believe this is pretty cool. So what I'll come back, and the next thing I'm gonna do is go back and voice my container, take off the red edges, and portfolio looks pretty cool so far. Dark mode works pretty well. Then on the mobile menu, we have to toggle our menu. When we click, this should be seen. This should change as well. So what we can do is, let me go back to my JavaScript, and let me push this down and say menu toggle. So let menu button equals document dot query selector. What name did I give to it? I called it menu toggle. All right. Then the menu toggle. So menu button dot add event listener. Anytime it's clicked, then we are going to bring in an arrow function. Let's call a function and say that let me see where we have our nav. So in mobile, we have our nav display to be none. So let me just copy everything, and we say nav dot open. We'll have display to be block, and let me save these as well. So this is not going as planned. This is good. All right. Okay. So let nav menu was document dot query selector, and then dot nav. Think nav, right? So we could say nav menu dot class list dot toggle open, and let's see if that works well. I think that works nicely for us. You can switch between light and dark mode. And then another thing we can actually do is, as we did the other day, when we click, when the menu button, the menu is open, they should change to an X. So let's change to X. Let's search for let's see, close. So let's copy. Now we can see this is the only difference that comes between these, and let's go back. And where is the menu toggle? We have the menu toggle. So this LNI menu and then LNI close. So we can now say, let me copy that. We can now say that if, let me just move this out and let it be here. So if nav menu dot class list dot contains open, then we are going to what? Toggle that what? Remove. Else, if it doesn't contain, then it means we are going to what? We are going to add. And then in the same way, if it contains, let me uh, let me negate this. That is byte. So this we're gonna have to put by open. If this doesn't contain open, you have to add open. If it con else if it contains, then you have to remove. And if it doesn't contain and we add, then menu button, the menu button itself, the class list dot remove. Sorry, we are going to remove this from the class list. Then we are going to add, let me see, this. Then let me just copy everything to the else statement, and then so let me say, let me remove here, and then let me add this, and let's see if that is working for us, and that works still. So we now have our menu working right for us, and then we also have our light and dark mode working for us. However, there is another thing. I just want to give you guys a glimpse of JavaScript and some of the things you're going to be using JavaScript for. Now, let me refresh. It's in dark. Let me change it to light. Let me refresh, and it goes back to dark, right? So, one thing we can do with JavaScript is say, when the document loads, we can say if when we change this to when we change it to light mode, what thing we can do is we can save it on the storage API called localhost, right? So local storage, say localhost, local storage dot set item. Then it takes two parameters. The first is the key. Then I can say theme. Then the second parameter is going to be light, right? So let's see if that happens. Let me go back onto the website. Let me refresh to make sure everything's okay. I've added light. Let me go to inspect elements. Let me go to application. Let me go to local storage, and theme is now being saved over here, which is like that. I think I added this from a different project, so but because it's on localhost, it's showing. So theme is now showing up as light over there. So when when we are removing from light mode, we can now say these. Let me just bring this over here. That remove item, and we are removing a thing. That way you don't have to specify the value when you're removing, right? So what we can actually test for is we have here. So we add lighting and then it's showing, and we remove the lighting, then it goes up. Now let's go back to light mode. Let's refresh, and we're still having a problem. So what we can come back and do is that if local storage dot get item uh, theme, then body, sorry, document dot body dot class list dot add. So let me say now let me not do this. Dot add no, it shouldn't be so theme was document sorry local storage dot get item theme, and this theme here is a new variable we are declaring. So we can now, let me take this. If theme, yeah, somebody has a hand up. Somebody raised their hand. All right, so let's see what happens over here. And nothing is showing. So let me bring this. Let me add this. And then after I refresh, this is still showing. And so after I refresh our dark mode, our light mode is now started for us. Let me come back. Let me change it. And we are having a problem. So let me come back here and then say, let me now declare a function. So let's toggle thing. Let's say toggle theme equals, now let me remove everything from here and put it here. Then I'll now call just that function toggle theme. So when this is clicked, I'm just going to call that function, and then inside this I would say if theme, let me see, I have to organize this code well so that I don't, let me put everything here. So if local storage dot theme equals local storage dot get item theme, and if theme, then document dot body dot classless dot add theme, then all you're gonna do is so making this what do you call it? All right, so let me create a function. Let me create a function and say function toggle thing. Would I put this somewhere? Toggle thing. Okay, I've declared a function over here. Oh no, I'm making some errors over here. This is for menu button. This is for toggle thing. So that's supposed to come here. Let me comment this. Bring this over here. So if theme, then its light mode was through. All right. So let me refresh the page. Let me let this refresh the page, and we have everything here. Then now I can change. Now I can change. Now let me refresh, and I have this here. So if it's light mode, it's light mode equals true, then I can now call the toggle theme function. Then I would now have to come and pick this function. Then sorry. toggle theme, then I would have to declare the function here. Right, so let toggle theme equals this. Right, let me refresh the page. Something is wrong. Theme button dot add dependency toggle theme. If it's light mode equals true, I know. Let me take this off for now and see what I have done so far. Well, so if it's light mode, so definitely its light mode should be false, right? Yeah, its light mode is false. So if its light mode is false, then we have to add and then change it to true, then change this logo, and then save this to local storage. All right, so let me keep it here. It goes back to dark. So if theme, then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna say coming to if theme is found, then turn light mode. All right. Else, if theme is found, then turn on light mode. I'm gonna call it turn on light mode function, and this is a function that will be used to turn on light mode. So let me take this off. Turn light mode. Alright, and then let me say function turn light mode equals sorry. So when I call this function, this is what is gonna run. Then I could say turn dark mode, and that is gonna take this function here. All right. So if theme is found, then you're gonna turn on light mode. Let me take care of this. It's light mode. It's light mode. This is true. Light mode equals false. So I'd say if it's light mode, then right, if not light mode, then we'll turn on light mode. Else, then we are going to turn on dark mode. Let's see how that goes for us. Turn on light mode. Turn light mode. And then you are turning light mode. Oh, I if thing this light mode is false. Alright, so this is working, but then our logo is not changing. I just have to take time. Let me clear everything and take care of that. Right. So I have my theme mode and let me see. Let me clear this is really messy. My theme button. This is my theme button. So I'm gonna say this is my theme button. So when theme button dot add event listener dot click, then when this is clicked, by default, its light mode should be false. Then when this is clicked, then document.body, you're gonna add the light classics.add.light, and then we'll change its light mode to true. All right, and let me see, and that is happening. And then, but then we want that to only happen if its light mode is false. Then we're gonna do this and do that. But if its light mode is not false, that is, if it is true, then else I want to try and keep it as big as basic as possible. Sorry, it should be removed over here, and this wait. If its light mode equals false, then let's add light. Then set its light mode to true. Else, if its light mode is true, Then we'll remove light and then set this light mode to false again. And this is supposed to work. Wow. Document the body that class list that remove. So then we'll have to change the logo as well. Let me take my time and do it step by step. Logo that. Alright, so okay, logo is here. So I have to add a condition, right? If if the body doesn't contain class light, then we should add light, right? Else, let's copy everything and let's just reverse it. So remove, and then light, so we can see the toggle and everything works fine. Let me be careful making further additions. Then local storage, let's set item to light. Then here we are just going to remove item. Alright, so let me go back, let me test again. And our local storage is working for us. Then what I can do is say that, alright, so let me uncomment this. So if theme, then we are going to see, let me take this to the very bottom, let me make sure I'm doing the right thing. If theme, then what we are going to do is bring all of this in here. Alright, so we have now solved the problem. I was trying to use states to listen to the toggle and get it going, but I just ran into some challenges. I got confused along the way, but I've been able to figure it out, and then we have it working for us. So when we are on light mode and we refresh, everything stays on light mode. Else, when we come back and we change it to dark mode, and we refresh, everything stays in that mode like you would want it to be. So this is a simple portfolio which you can use for your project. We spent almost 3 hours, and this is weird, uh, but I believe it's worth it. And I would like to say thank you guys for staying this long. Michael, Enoch, and Aubrey, you guys are still hanging out. Let me just close the recording for now.